She has to prove that she had it.
Oh, snap.
So the art of Frida was described as a ribbon around a bomb. Today I will begin by giving you information about Frida Kahlo. There are 3 interesting facts about Frida. I will start by discussing Frida's childhood. Then I will move on to discuss her art journey. And finally, I will finish by informing you about her impact on the feminism today. So Frida Kahlo was born July 6, 1907 in Mexico City. As stated by Angelica in the Encyclopedia Britannica, as a child she suffered polio, which left her a slight limp and chronic ailment she would endure throughout her life. Though this ailment would begin, she was famous for wearing her iconic skirts, and that's where it started. Later in her life, she was involved in a major car accident with a trolley. And in that accident, it impaled her pelvis and other areas of her body, and she was bedridden for most of the time. And so her father created a special easel for her, so that way she could still paint while lying down, because it had a mirror on top. And these are some of the paintings that she made. Frida's art career took off during the Mexican Revolution, and most of her art had the full support of the Mexican government because it showcased a lot of Mexico's beauties and really captured all of the great things about Mexico. Her artwork was showcased in October 1938. Was her first solo art exhibition and the Julian Levy Gallery, and she had 25 exhibit pieces, and she had 25 and half of them sold. And these were just some of them and some of the prices. So like her most expensive one was the self-portrait dedicated to Leon Trotsky for $600. And then she had one of her last and most famous and iconic pieces was the piece that she did in Mexico, which was called the Two Fridas. In the biography of Frida Kahlo by Carlos Fuentes, one of Kahlo's famous works, the paintings shows 2 versions of the artist sitting side by side with both their hearts exposed. One Frida is dressed nearly in all white and a damaged heart and spots of blood on her clothing, and the other wears a blood-colored clothing with an intact heart. And these figures were believed to represent the unloved and the loved versions of Frida Kahlo at this time. And finally, I will finish by informing you about the impact she had on the modern day feminism. So Frida defied gender stereotypes. She would smoke and compete in tequila competitions with other men at this time. She even wore men's clothing in one of her family portraits against her mother's wishes. And in a lot of her paintings, she would also accentuate her more masculine features. So she would really showcase the unibrow or the light mustache. A lot of other ways that she was really impacted the feminist community was just through her journey. Through her health journey, and according to Elaine, the author of Frida Kahlo, an icon of feminism and freedom, she was the woman who painted brutal self-portraits, and she was also a wife who endured miscarriages and broken marriage. Most importantly, she was a patient who tolerated dire physical pain and underwent more than 35 operations throughout her life. As I told you the aspects of Frida Kahlo's life, I started by giving you information about her background. Then I informed you about her artistic journey. Lastly, I gave you information about her impact on the feminist movement. Frida Kahlo is no longer just a celebrated figure in Mexico. Her face and paintings are part of a major movement for women because of her groundbreaking stereotypes. The end.